You know what? I don't care. I'm gonna say it. Cowboy Bebop does nothing for me, and I'm Spike.
I'm Kel, and I have to kill Spike now.
Oh, I'm Amanda. I have to go into hiding because Cowboy Bebop does nothing for me either.
What's up, Amanda? What the fuck is up? Hey there.
I have bad
gave
taste,
it so
though.
many. No, here's the thing. My personal whole thing is like there is a thing that drifts around Twitter from time to time. It's a woman giving a presentation on a stage, and she's standing in front of a slide, and it says something. I am a dumb bitch with terrible taste. I will never change. I will never improve.
It's me.
Promise. It's like, yeah, that's me. That's me. Cowboy Bebop for me is kind of like Avocado, where I look around and I see everyone loves it, and I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I just did it wrong. I'm gonna give it another chance. And I give it another chance. It's like, no, I don't like it.
It's I can totally. It's one of those things where I see it. I've watched it a few times. I see it and I go, I totally see why everyone loves this. It doesn't make me feel anything.
Yeah, it's just
fine.
Not my vibe. It's just not for me.
I also don't particularly care for Fooly Cooly.
Oh, I love FLCL.
That one's hard. I just don't get it. I can kind of see why people like it, but it's one of those things I've tried and I've just gotten annoyed every time.
I like it. I like it tons. I like FLCL a whole lot.
It pisses me off.
I saw FLCL in the wrong order. I saw the last 2 episodes first.
Oh dear.
And then watched the whole show. It's because it was like running on Adult Swim and didn't realize I was tuning in the last 2 episodes. So I saw the finale, and then I saw episode 1 onward.
Wow.
That is not correct.
That's why I said I watched it in the wrong order. I feel like I understood it better because I watched it in the wrong order, because I knew where it was heading. I feel like if I had started from the very beginning, I would have just been confused. But because I saw the end first, I was like, all right, this is where we're headed.
I don't know where my child is. Where is my child?
I love TV Boy. I love FLCL. I think it's really cool and I like it a lot.
Cunty?
And as just a general aside, by the way, personally speaking, I feel being able to say, I like this piece of media and listen to people say, I don't like that piece of media actually, and reply with, that's fair, I can see that, is kind of like the ultimate sign of adulthood these days, because holy fuck, some people are terrifying in their allegiance to media.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
You're not allowed to talk about the wizard property on my Discord. Like that's in the rules.
That's a whole other thing, though.
But wizard.
But the thing is like even if she didn't reveal Mask Off, I still would have banned it because I'm so sick of hearing about it.
I get it. Like, and apparently it's a thing that the Zoomers like to bash the millennials with. It's pretty fun.
I mean, it's pretty insufferable, and a lot of millennials do it.
Where it's like, you're not a Hufflepuff, Karen, you're 39.
When looking through all those holidays, there were fucking 12 different Harry Potter holidays on that website. One for each house. And
for folks who don't understand what Kel is talking about, Iron Circus has a marketing department, essentially, which is basically a few of us get together in a Slack channel and we kind of plan out when we're going to have sales. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we are at that moment.
I want an office.
And part of that, Kel went online and looked up various holidays.
I found a website that was like every holiday.
Like unofficial ones, like Taco Day, World Rat Day, things like that.
I found World Rat Day was one that I wrote down. But so there's a Star Wars Day, which is obviously May 4th, and there's a Star Trek Day, and it's like, okay, they get 1. Why does Harry Potter get 7? Like,
because
that's
marketing.
You don't think that Star Wars has as much marketing as Harry Potter?
There's a really good video. I gotta find it. There's a really good video about how like Harry Potter was a marketing machine from the very start, the whole she started from nothing. Like even that's bullshit. Like no, she was working on a grant. Yeah. Like from the very start, they had like lots of money behind it. It was just a machine ready for someone to press the big green button.
Yeah, talking about grants is kind of fascinating because I was being a mopey little thing on Twitter recently because I watched Saber Spark. He does animation reviews here on YouTube, and he recommended a joint French-Spanish production called Unicorn Wars. And I took a break today and I watched that. It's an animated film and I really enjoyed it. And one of the things that is very prominent and front and center about it is
real quick, the video I was talking about, it's by Verily Bitchy, the consumerist dystopia of Harry Potter.
Oh.
Yes, I've seen that video.
And I'm fucking jealous. I'm deeply jealous of how in other countries, non-American countries, it just seems a lot easier to get government art grants. Whereas in America, it's so fucking difficult. It's basically impossible.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so that property was already insufferable, and I've always hated it, and
Kel hated it before it was cool.
Exactly. No, I told people when I tried to read it as a child and the target market, I stopped reading it before Harry got his letter. I never got to You're a Wizard, Harry, because I bounced off it that hard.
Yeah, just don't be that person that then posts on social media, well, I never liked her. You know, that's so
the people who are like, well, it's not very good, so it's okay that we're canceling it. Like, that is smug and shitty, and why I have never talked about it on social media, because I do not talk to people about because again, it's you only say that to be smug.
Pretty much. Look, just a level smug.
And I like plenty of things that are made by problematic people. I mean,
God, yes.
Joss Whedon's a horrible person, but I still own all of Buffy, and have written some Buffy, and I will never not own Buffy things. But Harry never made it to Hogwarts in both of my attempts to get through Harry Potter. One was when I was reading it as a child, and the other was when I learned about audiobooks and successfully got through some books I did not get through when I attempted to read them. I was like, maybe I'll give Harry Potter another chance as an audiobook. No, he still didn't get to Hogwarts. He did get told he was a wizard, so I got further than when I was reading it. But I basically quit when he went on his shopping trip.
God damn it, Ryan. Ryan Estrada was in the chat going, I didn't even apply for a government-funded studio space in Korea, but I have turned them down twice because they just hand them out. God damn it. God.
Yeah, we've talked about it in previous episodes.
Yeah, but just fucking damn it. Wouldn't it be nice to not be all like, but is it commercially viable? Hang over your every fucking professional decision.
Obviously, yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about popular things that we hate. But okay, you go first.
Okay.
Honestly, the things that here's the thing. There's a lot of super popular shit out there I just simply don't feel anything for. Cowboy Bebop, we just talked about. I don't feel anything for multiple major league properties that are owned by Disney. I have not seen a superhero movie by Disney since literally, I think, The Rocketeer, because I don't care. I don't see any. I haven't seen a DC superhero movie, I think, since Batman and Robin. So that
was a wise decision. You've not missed anything.
Count the years. Like I don't watch them because I don't care. And it's not a boycott. It's not a philosophy. It's not a manifesto. I don't watch them for the same reason. I don't go and see Russian ballet. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And
you're really missing out on those Russian ballets.
I probably am. If I had to choose between like a Marvel movie and Russian ballet, I'd probably go with Russian ballet because it'd be more unique and experience. And also, I'm kind of at that point, I think, in my media consumption cycle that I think a lot of people reach, where they can see like I can see the seams of how it's all being sewn together and kind of made hyper marketable, and it's being tied in with like the car insurance and the pancake syrup and the King's Hawaiian slider rolls, and it's all just sort of this big amorphous mass of
I'm in a
things.
magical girl, so I am way too lost in the sauce to ever give a shit about that stuff. Buy your pre-cure toaster.
It's just there's something extremely
I never care about this.
That to me.
I never care about the stuff. I never pay attention to this stuff beyond the main thing, unless it's like a making of.
Wait, is there a pre-cure toaster? Now I have to look.
There probably is. When I like a thing and hyperfixate on it, I know a lot of people turn to fan fiction and shipping and stuff like that. But personally, like when I hyperfixate, I do what is the writer equivalent of the kid who, to show that a kid is into science, in a movie, they show them taking apart the toaster to figure out how it works. And I do that to media that I really enjoy. So I can tell you a million dumb things about the production of Buffy. But if you're like, Joss Whedon's trash and this storytelling thing is stupid, I can be like, but they did that decision because of this reason, for such and such practical effect, blah, blah, blah. I can explain to you why they made that bad decision. Sometimes it's because Joss Whedon has a hard on, but it's that sort of like, so it's still admitting that it's flawed, but it's like, I must know why this bullshit is in
there.
There
is not a pre-cure branded toaster that I can find, but there is a Drew Barrymore toaster.
I do not want a Drew Barrymore toaster.
There's an entire line of Drew Barrymore toasters.
I think a big street, like a big.
So usually when I know about marketing stuff is when it is affecting the source material storytelling. Not the newest Ninja Turtles, but one of the recent Ninja Turtles. I was like looking at the character designs and was like, oh, that's a toy.
Yeah. A big streak that decides kind of what interests me, and there's no way to say this and not sound pompous, but it's kind of what's there, is the purity of sort of like the vision of what's being made. And I know how that sounds, and it's
I'm making a jerk off motion right now.
And when I say purity, I mean, it meets my exacting standards of what is truly art. No, what I mean is the purity of vision is something where it is a person who has made a thing and they have made it their way in an uncompromised way, and it is as close to how they pictured it as possible. And when they have presented it to the world, it communicates what they intend it to communicate. To me, an example of a purity of vision is Jack Stauber's Opal. Like, that is a one-person production that he put together from beginning to end. There isn't a thing in there that he doesn't want to be in there. And it does an amazing job of doing what he set out to make it do. And I think that's why I really enjoy Opal. And it doesn't have to be a one-person project either. I'm literally the only Kevin Smith movie I like, I think, is Clerks, like his first one. And I really, really don't like the dude who made Boondock Saints. But I can appreciate Boondock Saints as a movie because of the purity of vision of Boondock Saints, where it's not preoccupied with appeasing the Chinese government or using the aircraft carrier the Navy is offering for free as long as you make the American Army look good, or, well, this cartoon is fine, but can't we get Tom Cruise to voice act the Penguin because that's the only way we'll get funding? Or yeah, okay, we can get this made, but there needs to be a Britney Spears song on the soundtrack. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about sort of like impure stuff where I can see the compromises. Everything is fundamentally a compromise. I understand that nothing can be perfect, but
so
when I can see the compromises, when I can see the seams, is what I talk about, where you just sort of decided, okay, fine, we'll do it your way, just to get it out the door. That puts me.
I have started to tell people that I am not necessarily looking for a good movie, but I am looking for an interesting movie. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes trash fires are interesting. Yeah. But also, like, so the movie Cloverfield probably does not meet your standards of what is a pure piece of media. Mm-hmm. But to me, I think it is interesting because it is a storytelling experiment. So I wouldn't be surprised if the director was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say yes to whatever production wants me to do so I can do this one thing, which is to tell a kaiju Godzilla movie from a person perspective. And it's not an amazing movie, but it's interesting because it's sticking to that thing. So some of the choices are interesting in how it's shot and how it decides to achieve telling this big monster story through the eyes of one person. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily want to see it again because I don't think it's a very good movie. But I'm glad I saw it at least once because it's like, oh, this was an interesting experiment. And
I'm down with experiments.
So I was like, I'm glad I saw it. I don't necessarily need other people to see it. But like a month ago, I was telling Amanda about the movie Pi.
I love Pi.
And the reason why I'm so on Pi. I put it in this is interesting to watch once. I don't think I need to see it again. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's interesting that it's like the rough draft of what he does in later movies. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to me from that point of view. But his later movies where he's better at what he wants to do, I think are better movies.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I should mention too here that I love movies that are by like, you know, the Coen brothers have a very strong vision. You know, people like that. Like when I see movies by those people, I'm like, yeah, I can see it. Like David Lynch has a very strong vision when he is making things, and Werner Herzog. Like I love directors like that where they leave their fingerprints all over everything. And it's just so distinctly them. It's as them as their signature. It's as them as their DNA. And I think that's also sort of like an example of purity. But I should also note here, I also love fucking garbage, and I have a deeply contrarian streak to the point where I feel like a bystander sometime where I can recognize it bubbling up and I feel powerless to stop it. There is a YouTuber I was watching recently who goes by Mother's Basement. I strongly recommend him. He's a great YouTuber. He mostly does anime content. And he was doing a rundown of all of the live action adaptations of anime from best to worst. And live action adaptations of not just anime, but manga, I should say, from best to worst. And the very best one, which didn't surprise me because I think Kel, Amanda, and I all know a certain evangelist, according to Mother's Basement, the very, very best one he's seen is the Speed Racer movie.
Yes, and that's the correct opinion.
He is super confrontational about it because he's all like, if you think it's too much, you just don't fucking get what they were trying to do.
I have
That's
not seen that video,
yeah.
but I also just agreed Speed Racer is amazing.
Yeah, I would like to see that simply because he sold me on it. He has sold me on it. I trust
part of the reason why he is so aggressive about it is when it came out, everyone was like, "This is awful and garbage," and and everyone saying that. Critics at the time, they were fools. They were fools.
You sound like him right now. He's like, critics are dummies. They didn't get it. But I want to see that because he is very aggressive about this is the best thing, you should see it. But I also want to see the one he explicitly sat there and told me not to watch. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be so bad it's good. You're just going to suffer. It's just going to be boring and painful. And that is the Avatar, the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie. And he was like, no, don't, not even as a joke, not even with friends, not even just har. I bet it's so bad. No, it's not even good for that. Just don't watch it. Don't be contrarian and watch it anyway. And I'm like, no, I'm going to actually.
Because it's boring, Spike. That is the problem with the Avatar movie. It is boring. Like, you could, like, literally watching... Like, as he said, even the really garbage one where, like, for whatever reason, Luke Skywalker's in it, like...
Oh, the Geyser one.
Yeah, like, even that one, it seemed like was at least a disaster, like you're watching a dumpster fire. Whereas, like, the Avatar Last Airbender movie is, like... watch paint dry is more compelling. Like,
I want to watch the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action movie, and I want to watch the Fist of the North Star live action movie because apparently it is also just unbearable, and I'm desperate to see it. I have to see the trash. I have to lick up the garbage, the dumpster juice. Gotta get a straw and stick it in, take a big old sip.
Like, Spike, you.
I have to.
It's like the Twilight movie where it's like not even fun bad. It's just.
I want to sip the dumpster.
I mean, let her do what she wants.
Yeah,
the dumpster juice.
I've tried to get Spike to see so many good movies.
I know.
And
look, sometimes there are lessons you have to learn yourself.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I guess so. Well,
let me love the garbage.
I mean, if anything, this might cure her of at least a little bit of her contrarianism to be like, oh,
because sometimes things are just bad.
Sometimes things are just bad. Yes.
Sometimes it's just like, I wasted my life. I will not get that part of my life back.
Yeah, it's like that you have a finite number of hours on this earth, and you just spent 2 of them watching the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
See, my whole thing is like y'all are talking about what kind of things you're drawn to, and I was sitting here thinking like I don't think there is any specific thing I'm drawn to. Like I always joke, oh, I like gay cartoons, but at the end of the day, like what I like feels very arbitrary. It just I like it. I like what I like, and I know it when I see it, and I don't know how to describe it. And but it's also because I like a lot of different things.
Same, yeah.
So like, I like exists to share to sell toys shit. I'm okay with that. I like the deeper shit. I like the more like creator's vision stuff. I just like whatever if it falls within my interests, and my interests are varied but also stupid.
A thing that I need to do soon, because it's going to be a project, is, again, and this is harkening back to the Mother's Basement video, the one that is on the higher end, it's in the top 50% of stuff he actually recommended, but I saw the internet just like baying like hounds in their hatred of, is I want to watch the Death Note anime, and then I want to watch the Death Note live action thing.
Which
one? Because according to the author of Death Note,
because there's multiple live action ones.
No, the American Netflix one.
Okay, that's yeah.
Yeah, basically the thing is, what sold me on it is the author of Death Note likes it a lot, and I'm like,
I feel like the American Death Note is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
and it's mostly because of Light. Because
he's a bullied everyman.
That is the problem, basically, because Light in the original anime and manga is not the bullied everyman. Yeah. He is the straight A star student who's getting into the top university. That is like he is like the dream, surface level dream kid.
Sure.
And so having American, having American Light be like bullied kid who is put upon and, to be honest, looks like he's gonna shoot up his school. He looks like someone who wishes he had a Death Note. And I think instead they should have had Light be the perfect golden boy, like the valedictorian who is popular and is about to go into get into Harvard, and like the type of guy who the story about them date raping someone comes up and the judge goes, well, it will ruin his future if we charge him. Like that's who Light should have been in the American Death Note, not the put upon everyman.
I think American film, and when I say American film, I obviously don't mean the length and breadth of all movie making in the country. I mean like sort of mainstream Hollywood informed American film. It has to be dragged kicking and screaming from its everyman protagonist, and it's kind of obnoxious.
And
they made Goku an everyman who gets bullied in high school. Like, come on.
And I heard that the screenwriter of that apologized.
Yeah, he did.
Good. He should. So I feel like, because I really love who they cast to play L. I love all the pieces. It's just this one piece is wrong in my mind, and I'm gonna forever be disappointed that they didn't get all the pieces lined up for something interesting.
They didn't get Zac Efron.
Yeah, they did not get Zac Efron. I used to jokingly say
one of the Jonas Brothers, maybe.
No, Zac Efron specifically. No, he's perfect for it.
Because here's the thing, Spike. When there were first rumors of an American live action Death Note, I was in college, and that was right when Zac Efron had just finished High School Musical. And the haircut he has is Light in the manga's haircut.
Oh yeah.
And so I said Zac Efron should play Light, and my classmates groaned, and I'm like, no, it will be great because it will be Zac Efron happily killing everybody. And now we're in today's world where I was kind of true. Like what my prediction was half right, because we did get an American live action Death Note, and we did get a movie where Zac Efron happily kills everyone, but they are not the same thing. But specifically, it should have been Zac Efron.
Fair enough.
But
yeah, I just want to see the I have to watch the entirety of the anime, and then I have to watch the Death Note movie, the Netflix movie, just because I want to, because I'm so curious now.
And then
so wildly different from the source material. It's so clearly been Americanized, and apparently, despite this, the creator's like, "Ooh, I like it. That was good."
The creator's a weird guy.
Oh, the creator sucks, actually. I actively don't like.
Which one?
No, not the artist. The
which
writer.
One? Yeah,
the writer.
Who
went on to do God, what was that other fucking thing?
They've done a lot together.
The thing where they talk about who's going to be God.
Yeah, they did that together. They also did Bakuman together.
Yeah, I don't like the writer.
What's very funny is the one about who's going to be God is kind of him trying to do the opposite of Death Note, not realizing that the opposite of Death Note sucks. because Death Note was good.
It's the one thing going for it, apparently, because I haven't read the thing. The one thing going for it.
I have. It is not very good.
Apparently, the one thing going for it, though, is that you think it's going to have the big battle royale at the end, and then they just talk it out. that was a big bait and switch. They just talk it out.
That's actually partly why it sucks. Because every time you think they're going to fight, like it's not just instead of the big battle royale. It is literally every time they're about to fight, talking happens instead, and then it's over, and then there's basically it's them trying to talk each other into each other's point of view, and then they reach an impasse where neither side's going to compromise. So I guess we have to fight now.
Yeah.
But actually, no, let's talk some more. Oh, we're still not compromising. So we have to fight. No, wait, actually, let's talk some more. Like, so it's like the opposite of Dragon Ball Z, where you get bored of them fighting all the time, where it's like nothing is moving forward through the talking. They don't actually talk it out. They just talk in circles around each other and make the same arguments over and over again, and it gets extremely repetitive. And I kind of wish that they had just shot each other by the end of it. And then at the end, they all die.
Yeah, I get how that could be frustrating. I'm put off by multiple elements of that dude's work that I originally couldn't like kind of put a name to, and then I was just like watching video essays about it. It's like, oh yeah, he just like, doesn't like women. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't like them.
He just doesn't. It's like that's what was putting me off. He just doesn't fucking like women.
He either doesn't like or doesn't understand.
Yeah,
because his interesting female characters are terrible.
Yeah.
Like as in ditzy nonsense people. But they're entertaining in their way. And then the other type of lady is so perfect she's boring.
Yeah.
So except I do like one of the female leads in Bakuman. Bakuman is their manga about making manga.
Yeah, that one I'm familiar with too.
My favorite scene is a girl tells the writer that like two girls like the writer because he's handsome and popular in high school. And they both ask him out at the same time. And then he says, I'm going to dedicate my life to making manga. And one girl says, that's a really stupid idea. And you're a fucking idiot because, like, do you know how slim the chances are? Blah, blah, blah. Like, and she's like, you're a straight A student and you're so good at all these things. It's a waste of all your talents for you to, like, you shouldn't waste it on pop culture trash. And then he says, okay, get out. And she's like, what? He's like, I said, get out. And whereas the other girl, he decides to date her because she's like, yeah, sure. Do what you want. I'm not the boss of you. As long as you don't
I was just
boss me around.
Wanjuri is asking if we are watching any anime this season.
I need to pick Gundam Witch from Mercury back up. I haven't picked up the new stuff, but that's about it.
I'm going to be a basic bitch, and I'm probably going to just run through whatever's on Netflix right now because I've been building the most insane backlog over there. Like, there's a lot of stuff that... Here's the thing, like, Baki repulses me. Baki deeply fucking repulses me. But at the same time, it fascinates me. So I kind of want to watch the Baki series that's on Netflix right now. Even though I find everything about that series just aesthetically revolting. I still want to give it another chance.
I've been reading more manga than I have been watching anime.
Mm-hmm.
I've been rereading Monster. And Beast Complex just started up again, so I'm reading that.
I'm also probably going to give Devilman Crybaby a chance because everyone seems
get
divided.
ready for some rocket titties.
Honestly, it's Go Nagai, so I think I've got a good idea of what I'm going in for here. I'm familiar with the man.
I feel like
Go Nagai is one of these people where it's like he's very much a product of his time.
I feel like the divisiveness comes from Go Nagai. Like,
Yeah.
are you okay with gratuitous violence and rocket titties? Check yes or no. That will determine if you like it or not.
Yeah, sometimes I'm in the mood for sort of absurdist shit like that, for sure.
I've got my long list of stuff to watch still. I just haven't touched it at all because I'm not in a place where I can watch things.
Yeah, and there's another series that everyone's been kind of like pointing out, like, I think you'd like this, I think you'd like this. Every time I like watch an anime reviewer, they recommend it. I think I might have actually recommended it to you, Amanda, because it felt like your speed too. Kotaro Lives Alone.
Oh yeah, you recommended it to me. It didn't even make it onto my list because my list is too long.
Yeah, for folks who are not aware, Kotaro Lives Alone is just about like this low-end apartment building, the kind where, you know, and apparently this is a thing in Japan, where the apartments are so crappy they don't even have bathrooms. Like there's maybe a communal toilet somewhere in the entire building, but there are no baths or showers. And so everyone just goes to the bathhouse every day. Like that's how crappy an end of town this is. And there's kind of like a loser dude who notices at some point there's a 4-year-old next door, and this 4-year-old is not living with an adult. And it's the series is about like the whole apartment complex, and it's, you know, varied characters like a low-level yakuza and an office lady and so forth, all kind of coming together to be all like, hey, are you okay? But like Kotaro just kind of like refusing, that's the little boy's name, Kotaro, refusing any kind of help and just kind of trying to have this adult life living by himself in this shitty apartment while the adults around him are like trying to help him. And I kind of want to get into that, although the way Kotaro is drawn makes me gag.
I'm gonna speak at the end. I've been watching non-anime things. Before we started, I told Spike that I was rewatching all of Bob's Burgers. I have just finished it. I've seen the Bob's Burgers movie. Bob's Burgers still good after all these years. Thumbs up.
I just haven't felt a drive to watch anything. I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. I've gone through long periods where literally all I'm watching is just nonfiction stuff because I just can't deal with fiction.
It's not that I can't deal with it. I don't know. I don't feel the urge.
Other thing that I've been watching is Russian Doll.
Ah, okay.
Which is real good.
I think.
And
I'm gonna keep talking.
No, you say your thing.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share with you an image that is the lesbian rep we need in more TV.
Oh, yeah, we've seen
that. She's got her lizard and she's got her sword. And what more does a gal need? Yeah, Russian Doll is really interesting. Have you seen it, Spike?
I have not.
Do you know what it's about?
I do not.
Main character, it's her birthday, and she keeps dying in Groundhog Day.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
But she can't figure out what has caused this, or why. And then she runs into a guy who is also Groundhog Day, and he has like the exact opposite personality of her. She's kind of a train wreck, to the point where when she is Groundhog Day, at first she thinks she's high. Because that is the most likely explanation. Because why not? Why can't it be the meth that she has been smoking on her birthday?
Sure.
Whereas the guy is someone who is super uptight and regimented with his routine to the point that he realizes he is Groundhog Dang, but then just repeats the same day exactly the same. Like,
because he hasn't got a problem with it.
It is the worst day of his life, so he does have a problem with it. His girlfriend dumps him.
Oh, wow.
But he repeatedly goes to her house for the date and is dumped over and over again. And like, so it's kind of like both of their weird hang-ups intermeshing as they figure out why they are Groundhog Dang.
Okay. Where's that? Like Netflix or Hulu or where?
Yeah, that's on Netflix.
Okay. Sorry. Got interrupted by a big old yawn. Spiked an old lady. You have to understand.
And Beast Complex is the comic the Beastars lady did before Beastars. That's like short stories in the world. And that is definitely more her interest than part of why she wrapped up Beastars is she realized Legoshi is not suited to explore all the different weird shit that she wants to do in the world.
So she's going to do a side series or something?
Well, the Beastars is done.
Okay.
The manga is done. So she wrapped it up. So it's like started as this short stories, then she did Beastars. Now she's wrapped up Beastars and she's going back to the side story series. So there's stuff like there's a story about a pig who's a taxidermist.
Okay. Why would they need a taxidermist in this society, out of curiosity?
It is just a way that you can if you have a dead relative, you can get them taxidermied.
And why would you want to do that?
People got reasons.
I'm going to need to hear those reasons.
Well, the story is about a peacock comes up and is worried about getting older and his beauty fading. So he wants to be killed and then taxidermied right now. So that way his beauty will be preserved forever.
Okay, that's a thought to have, certainly.
That is what one of the short stories is about.
Sounds like someone needs therapy.
Yes, it does.
I think that's every character in that universe.
Yeah, honestly, though, like Beastars was conceptually really interesting to me in season 1, and then season 2, all these plot holes started to kind of like gape open. I'm like, wait, go back, explain that. Wait, what?
And that's the point of Beast Complex.
Yeah.
Is explaining those weird little holes.
You gotta honor your ancestors, Spike. Yeah, I suppose that could be one thing. But what that makes me think of, and I actually talked to Kel about this too, like way back in the day, when I was watching like the first season, I think, of Beastars, where I'm like, okay, so I am accepting that this world is devoid of people. Like, I get that. There are no human beings here. So why are there fucking dogs? And Kel basically jumped through the screen and was like, actually, they talk about that in the manga. They don't do it in the anime, but they talk about that in the manga.
They might talk about it in the anime because it's coming up. We're getting that plot point.
Yeah. So
the dog secret
will
be revealed. Yeah.
I'm willing to let that slide, that the artificial construct of the dog is permitted to exist in this no human universe. But like there are like a lot of things around meat and stuff where, okay, so the way it's being characterized, it's functionally like alcohol, where it seems like the vast majority of people who partake can handle it fine, but then like if they do it too much, it destroys their life and their sanity.
Mm-hmm.
And they're basically wandering the streets looking for their next fix. Like, okay, all right, that part I'm on board for. I get you.
I mean, that's not really what's happening, but yeah.
Okay, what's happening?
Okay, so
you don't want spoilers.
Well, no, it's not just that. Okay, the concept is this.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little meat. You don't ever do it again. If you have meat a lot, you like it, you enjoy it. You begin to realize, if you view the people around you as walking meat, how accessible it is. It's not about like an addiction or anything. It's more about once you cross that boundary and make meat a part of your life, it's much easier to not view it as a thing you buy in the market, but rather a thing the people around you are made out of.
Okay. So that makes you likelier to just eat people around you.
I mean, yeah.
Because they're animals.
Okay. Because how you are compartmentalizing your relationship with the people around you is changing.
Yeah, okay.
And specifically, this only happens to the land animals because you find out that the ocean animals do not have this taboo, and they're fine.
So, like, is the krill sapient, or is there like a lower level? The krill is sapient.
Well, I don't know about krill specifically.
Okay.
We meet some fish. We meet some fish. We meet a shark, and we meet a seal.
Okay, because whale eat like 1 billion tons of krill, and so it's like, is that like a holocaust every time it swallows? Is that what's happening? Because it would have to.
No, because they don't regard it that way.
Yeah, they're saying it like this is just a fact of life, and you need to, because it's not a taboo in the ocean world. They raise people up to not compartmentalize it. So yes, it's going to happen, but like, it's more of a don't overdo it for the ecosystem rather than not overdoing it because murder is bad.
Do the sharks wear pants?
We don't. I don't think we know. No, they don't. No, that's right. A big thing is that a lot of the ocean people are nude and don't and get weirded out by clothes.
There's a big old seal dong.
Do they have legs and arms, or are they just animals?
It depends on the design.
Okay.
Yeah, because the seal has arms and whatnot. But I don't think the shark did.
The shark does not get arms. It doesn't get little shark legs.
I mean, that makes sense to me because the walrus and seal flippers are actually modified arms.
How does the shark talk?
Blah 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 blah.
Legoshi is learning fish language in.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So it's blah blah blah. Yeah, it's like different blubbing noises.
Blah, blah, blah.
So Legoshi is like doing sort of like the wandering Ronin type thing where he's going around talking to fish.
No, this is like more like just talking to his neighbors. Talking to people like nearby. Like you can just go places and talk to people.
Yeah, it's like if you find out your neighbor speaks Spanish, you can talk to them in Spanish. Like.
So does a shark live next door?
No, but he lives next to the seal guy, the walrus.
The seal, and then he's a seal.
Okay.
I think he's a leopard seal specifically, but yeah, he's a seal. And when Legoshi goes to his house, the seal immediately takes off his clothes. And
hot.
Because the seal got told land animals wear clothes when they're out and about, but I guess no one told him they usually still wear clothes when they're in their house.
Fair enough.
So
you have to be detailed when you tell people these things.
Yeah. So his neighbor is a seal.
Okay.
I love his neighbor. His neighbor's great.
The fish the seal is eating, do they have little arms and legs?
No.
Oh.
But I mean, the snakes don't.
The snakes totally have arms and legs.
But they don't.
They should totally have them.
But they don't.
I'm just saying that like all the other animals have them.
If they had arms and legs, yeah.
I suppose. They don't, it's like they have hands and shit. They don't have that.
Yeah. But it's easier to extrapolate hands from like because usually all the the parts are still there.
Yeah, but even the birds who have wings have hands.
But their wings are kind of also their hands.
Yeah, they have that cheaty Disney thing where the feathers are fingers.
Yeah.
That's total bullshit.
Yeah, like so that like so it's like I guess their fins are their hands, but they don't
no, Jose, if the snakes had legs, they would not be lizard because they'd be a snake with legs. There's legless lizards and snakes with legs. Those are separate things.
That is true. You can tell easily because if it has
y'all were talking about all this like
blinks.
Culture and animation, and Amanda only comes out of her shell. We're talking about the difference between lizards without legs and snakes with legs.
And
here Amanda comes.
And you're dealing with a legless lizard, not a snake, if it has an eyelid and it blinks.
Yes.
That's how you know.
Pythons and boas still have their little leg bones in the back, but only in the back.
Do y'all know about Titanoboa?
Yeah, it was huge.
Isn't it terrible? Terrible thought.
I guess.
Big
snake. Big snake.
Big
cool.
Anyway, Beast Complex.
I want to ride the big snake. I want to put a bridle on the big snake, and I want to ride it.
I think you'd be disappointed.
Why?
I think the snake would not be thrilled with you.
Of course it wouldn't. That's why you got to put a bridle on it and break its spirit.
The snake would look at him and be like, amuse bush.
No, you break its spirit.
No, I
can't wait for the next season of Beastars and getting to learn about Legoshi's grandpa's boyfriend.
No. You can yell at me all you want, but you can't stand there.
So, Kel, is this like an experience for you like it was watching Game of Thrones, having like read ahead, and you were like looking at your watch going, yeah, tonight's the night he gets his hand cut off, and only people who read the books know that.
I did not read the books until after Game of Thrones was done.
Oh, okay.
But I read all the spoilers because that's how I roll.
Yeah, for me, I'd read all the books. I have read all the books, and as constantly saying,
I still read the fan theories. I love the tinfoil hat brigade that are the Song of Ice and Fire Reddit.
My only experience is I didn't read the books. I watched season 1 with my family, and then when season 1, and they were like, I think a few seasons behind, so they were playing catch up, and they were like, so they watched season 1, and they was like, okay, we're starting on season 2, and I got up and I was like, all right, I'm out, and they're like, wait, you don't want to watch it? I'm like, no, I'm not coming back for this. I sat in for the season. I'm out. I hated it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. But yeah, when
Ravioli commentary,
all the books.
Ravioli commentary is happening because she's trying to stand on my the power outlet that my everything is plugged into. She just wants to stand on it.
I mean, I knew all the spoilers, so I knew.
Yeah, I'd read the whole thing, so I knew exactly when Jaime Lannister's hand was getting cut off, and I knew how it was going to play. And it was fun because I didn't watch the episode, but I went on Twitter when it was going to be over. Because I just wanted to see everyone's reaction.
My favorite thing is, so Claire Hummel's sister used to run a blog called Arrested Westeros, which is mashing up Arrested Development with Game of Thrones. And a quote from Arrested Westeros is, I never thought I'd miss a hand so much. So when they first used that quote, they put it over John Aaron dying, and then they did it again when Sansa's looking at Ned's head on a pike on the wall. But after that episode aired, where Jaime loses his hand, apparently Claire's sister was busy, so she texted Claire, tonight's episode is the episode. You know what to do. So as soon, like 5 minutes after it aired, Arrested Westeros posted Jamie getting his hand cut off with, I never thought I'd miss a hand so much.
Becky is asking if I ever figured out if Ravioli's pregnant. I don't think she is. I think she's just shaped weird.
Oh dear. Rude.
Well,
rude.
I think I don't know what's going on. She's a teenage cat who was very malnourished, and she is now extremely well fed. So I don't she could just be weird shaped, and I'm not accustomed to what a cat should be shaped at that age and phase of their life.
Maybe she's just going through her awkward phase.
It could be she's putting on weight and she's putting it on weird. Or it could be gutworms are back. Or she could be pregnant and it's just taken a long time to show. I don't know. All I know is I'm very suspicious of her. She could just be lumpy.
You'll know for sure soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know if she's pregnant real quick. Give it a couple months, you'll know.
Not a couple.
Well, eventually you'll know.
Yeah. No, she'll be spayed before that happens.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to be able to swing the bill.
I follow a woman on, I think it's YouTube, because YouTube has its shorts now too. I follow a vet on YouTube Shorts, and some reaction she got recently and she noted this in the video. So people knew going in, this was the situation where there was some careless rabbit keeping that went down, and she was doing a spay on a doe rabbit who had been impregnated by her own father. And it's she was like, rabbits don't care. I think we all know that. They're rabbits. But we're doing this spay, and the rabbit pups are, at the point now where they are recognizably rabbit pups, and she cut them out and put them on the table when she was doing the spay. And there was just a lot of, oh my God, the baby bunnies. It's did you not hear the part about how they're incest babies? Did you not hear the part about how she's way too young to be pregnant? Did you not hear any of this? And the comment section, as I'm sure you can all imagine, was delightful.
I mean, that's every comment section everywhere, yeah.
I know. I've had comment sections on YouTube turned off for literal years. It's just blank. I don't even see what people say because I genuinely don't care. I think we should know less about each other, and I think people should say less in general. It's sometimes your opinion is not necessary.
I mean, there's a place and time. I think it's more there's a place and there's a time.
Yeah, I don't need everyone's input on everything I'm doing. And I know that's funny because I have a Twitter, but still.
But I also, I don't care. My thing is more I'm probably not going to do my YouTube videos anymore. But when I was planning on doing it, I was never going to have YouTube comments turned on. Yeah. Mostly out of you don't get a comment on most things you watch. Why are you going to comment on this? If you want to talk about it, go talk about it amongst yourselves, like the good old days. Go make your own forum.
Yeah, I have comments off on every week. Matt and I play Vintage Story for 6 hours, and I have comments just turned off on all of those because number one, it's one more fucking comment section to look at. I would rather fucking die. I already have too many of those to look at, and I can't keep up with the ones I need to be looking at. So I'm not gonna do the ones on fucking my Vintage Story playthroughs, the 5 hours of fucking peace I get per week. I'm not going to turn that into work too.
I'm making plans to have 2 comics. I know, because I'm stupid. I'm making plans to have 2 webcomics running next year. And Love Me Nice currently has comments, but I'm going to disable them when it's actively updating again. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm just going to go with reactions instead. You can post reactions. Mm-hmm. But that's it.
Yeah, that might be nice.
Because it'd be nice to... I'd like to have a way to gauge reactions. But as a whole... and maybe even custom ones like this character's a jerk. You can click this character's a jerk button. Yeah, things like that. But I think kind of like how Twitch chats and stuff will have their own emotes. Maybe it'll be something like that. But I'm over comments.
I don't have comments on my website. But I do have them on my Patreon. If you want to comment, you got to give me money.
Yeah, that makes. I don't fucking care.
Well, I mean, I care, but it's also a matter of I I think there's some conversations that I shouldn't be privy to. Like, this is y'all are actually having a personal conversation and y'all don't even realize it. I shouldn't even be privy to this conversation. Perhaps y'all should take it elsewhere. Sometimes there's a really good debate going on and it is getting buried and I'll never see it. It's just, I don't think comments are, like, people always say, oh, you should read comments for constructive criticism. I don't think comment sections are actually very good ways of getting constructive criticism.
No.
Because all it takes is one, like, because especially with the way comment sections usually go, all it takes is one thread getting most of the attention and you've had all the potentially good construction criticism bumped all the way down.
Yeah. I'm going to be problematic right now because I think TikTok has been a fantastic demonstration of the fact most people don't have anything to say worth listening to.
I mean,
and I just, like, every time I hear about like a TikTok fad or a TikTok dance craze or just people fucking finding ways to talk about the minutiae of their life in time with a pop song, it's just like, yes,
I mean,
you have nothing to contribute. And I think that philosophy also carries over into comment sections. I think most people in comment sections just don't have anything to fucking say. Some of them might, absolutely, sure, this is not a universal thing. Just like there are people on Twitter I follow because I fucking love every time they post. There are people who definitely have things to say all over the place. However, I would say the majority, as in 51% of people, just, there's nothing they have to contribute, but they have the impulse to contribute because it is an option. And so that's how you get comment sections full of shit like, I'm 6, or, wow, count the dislikes. I guess 5 people don't like chocolate ice cream. Or,
so you're complaining about children?
No, not always children.
I mean, that's largely children, really.
The people on TikTok doing fucking dances to answer questions no one is asking are not children.
No, I was specifically talking about the comment section stuff.
Yeah, well, you cannot say they're universally children because they're not.
No, I didn't.
It's just one of those things where it demonstrates to me the majority of people aren't interested in contributing anything I'm ever going to listen to. So I'm totally cool with, since it is majority, just turning it off completely. If what you have to say is truly like burning a hole in your brain, you'll find a way to say it to me. That's not the YouTube comic section.
Anyway, mangas and comics that we're reading. Monster's really good. It's by the guy who made Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of like The Fugitive. The main character is a doctor, and he saved a little boy's life, and then the little boy grew up to be a serial killer.
Yeah, I know. Monster's not a new thing. Monster's pretty.
Yeah.
Hi, Abby. Butts to you too.
So I haven't been. Sorry, I have nothing to contribute. I've been in a funk for a while, and I haven't been watching or reading really anything.
I've been actually considering getting that Shonen Jump app that lets you read all the archives for $1.99 a month.
I got that.
Yep, it's great. Yeah. Yep.
I'm thinking of getting
so I read all of Chainsaw Man.
Because it's very reasonable and it's extremely cheap.
Yep. It's a good deal.
May do that.
Yeah, my problem is I just don't have anything to talk about anymore.
Yeah, I've been working like fucking crazy for the past several weeks, to the point where I'll be sitting behind my desk and I'll just be like, I'm being crushed. I desperately need to take like 2 or 3 days off in a row, and I just can't. I literally can't right now.
I think it's also this phase where, like, if I want to spend my time doing anything, I want to spend it interacting with people, which is why reading and watching things hasn't been very interesting to me lately. Like, I want to talk to people. I want to interact with people. I want to hang out with people. I don't even have to be doing anything. I just want to absorb the presence of other people. So I've been like leaning into like voice chatting or playing social games instead. So
role play, yeah.
Huh?
Role play games, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been returned to my dinosaur game. I've been playing my dinosaur game some nights. I've been playing Warframe very, very recently with friends, which is great. It's very confusing, but very fun. But yeah, no, I just haven't. I'm generally not a very interesting person, but my lack of anything interesting to say has like increased increased. My lack has increased exponentially lately. I'm just dull as shit.
Yeah, I fantasize about being left alone, because working for me right now is, I'm trying to do emails, I'm trying to do memos, I'm trying to do contracts, I'm trying to do messages. And then like 2 people will be talking to me in the Slack, and then maybe my husband will stick his head in my office door and say something, and I will literally scream at him because I can't function when it's like, here's a thing I need to do, just can everyone just shut the fuck up and leave me alone for 10 minutes so I can do this one thing before 2 or 3 other people demand my attention for the next hour. Can I please have a fucking second? Can I please have that? And my husband doesn't deserve to get screamed at, but he does, because it's just like, it's the straw that broke the camel's back when I'm like, I have a Discord talking to me, and I have a Skype talking to me, and I have a Slack talking to me, and then I have an email I'm trying to answer, and then I have a person in my office talking to me. And I'm just like, 5 fucking minutes, please, can I have 5 fucking minutes? And he's like, okay. And he leaves, and I have to go apologize. I'm just not good at 5 people demanding my attention all at once. I don't think anyone really is.
Yeah.
But hey, it's the job that I gave myself, so okay.
Yeah.
Hooray. Abby says I can turn off Slack notifications when I'm working. I dare not. I fucking dare not. There are time-sensitive questions that I get asked in DMs and in general channels all the time, so I need to be there for them. Oh god, maybe I can hire an assistant one day. That'd be nice. I would, honestly, my fucking dream, I'll know that I am truly living a blessed life when I don't have to check my own email anymore. That's how I'll know. And yes, I understand this is me complaining about popularity, but whatever.
Yeah.
My life is so hard. Everyone wants to date me, and I don't know what purse to buy.
Yeah, the internet makes you accessible in ways that no previous generation has ever been accessible. Like, it's a thing that I have so many DM boxes, and everybody wants to contact me via DM their preferred way. And as a result, I have DMs that sit unread for weeks, because it's like, I don't have the fucking bandwidth to go around the internet and check every single DM box. I just don't. I have too much shit going on right now. And it's always a choice about who you're going to disappoint or who you're going to leave hanging. Like, that's the decisions I make every day. Like, who gets to be disappointed today because they don't hear from me? And it's kind of the only way I can fucking function, because it's like, I can't do everything because there are only 24 hours in a day. It's physically impossible.
Yeah.
But anyway, being a huge downer, I will stop. Hopefully the light is at the end of the tunnel soon and I can chill out for like 5 seconds, because Abby's over there like, hire assistant, hire personal assistant. Like, maybe we'll see. For reasons I am literally not permitted to get into, a lot of the next 365 days of Iron Circus is very much up in the air, and in a positive way, not in a, oh my god, will we survive way. It's more like 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood kind of way. Like, what are we going to do? And it's not entirely exclusively up to me. A lot of it's going to be negotiable. A lot of it's going to be a group decision, and what we choose will determine kind of what the shape of my life is going to be, quite frankly, for the next 5 years. And we're just going to have to see how that turns out, because Iron Circus animation is a thing. It happened. It has a reputation now. It exists. It's a thing. And it's a grassroots thing. And it's sort of, it's weird. It is going to exist in perpetuity, but in what form that will take has yet to be determined. And it's weird to be in this space where there's going to be decisions that have to be made, and the decisions that are going to be made are going to be decisions that never occurred to me I would have to make. And if we make the wrong ones, we will be destroyed utterly, because it's happened. It's happened to a lot of people. We literally sit down and have meetings with people it's happened to. So it doesn't happen to us. And it's fucking like anyone, I can't really go into detail, but anyone who pays attention to animation and sees what happens knows what I'm talking about. And it's one of those things where we're trying super hard to not be utterly annihilated by any choice we make. And we know what the safe choice would be, but we also know what sort of like the glamour choice would be. And it's one of those things where we're just kind of putting it off. Quite frankly, I'm kind of glad about these strikes that are happening, because when shit like this goes down, Hollywood will probably shut down for like a couple of months. And it'd be nice to have a little breathing room.
I mean, it'd also be nice for the workers to get more rights. And
oh yeah, for sure. But like, no deals can be cut while everyone's on strike. That's just how things work. And I'm glad. I'm actually pretty glad about that. So yeah. Of course, solidarity forever. Fucking SAG-AFTRA, fucking Writers Guild of America, fucking kick their asses, get your checks, get fucking paid, get those clauses in your contracts that say your faces and voices can't be used for AI. Fuck those assholes. They'd cut you out of the pie if they could as quick as possible. So, don't let them do that. Absolutely. Obviously, solidarity forever. Protect the workers. United we barter, divided we beg. That's real. However, it also does personally.
There's an article going around with the guy who directed Sorry to Bother You, where he's talking about the writer's strike and how a thing that surprised him is he thought it was going to be like the last writer's strike where everyone was told, don't do any writing work, but you can do other work. But this is like, you can't do any work, period. Which means he can't promote his new show, which is probably going to premiere during the writer's strike.
Oh, that must be frustrating.
He talks about how it is incredibly frustrating, but like, it's kind of like, oh, well, did you consider like maybe just promoting it anyway? And he's like, absolutely not. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? This is a man who made a movie about the horrors of capitalism. Like,
Abby Lark is posting, nobody wants their baby to grow up to be a tax write-off. Yeah.
Also, Spike, if you haven't seen Sorry to Bother You yet, you should see it.
It has been on my to-watch list for a while.
It's very good.
Would you like to know how I end up seeing movies these days?
Someone tells you that they're terrible and you shouldn't see them, so you immediately go watch them.
Yes, but also what happens is, all right, I have Amazon Prime, and when I order things on Amazon Prime, I usually save up a bunch of things I want just so I get one big order. And when I do that, when I go to checkout, there's a thing they have where they're all like, hey, if you choose to have everything shipped, no rush shipping, we'll put a $1 in your account so you can contribute it towards Amazon digital purchases. I'm like, okay, cool. So by the time I buy 5 separate orders, I have enough to rent a film. And that's how I watch a lot of stuff that doesn't just come as part of Prime, like you have to actually rent it or buy it. That's how I watch that stuff. I rent it for it's like a $5 rental, and it's technically free because I have $5 sitting in the account because I choose no rush shipping on all my Amazon Prime stuff. So I see a bunch of free, air quotes, free movies that way.
Tar is also a good movie.
Tar?
Yeah.
TAR?
Yep.
What's that one?
It was nominated for Best Picture. Cate Blanchett plays a famous orchestra conductor, and one of her former assistants / proteges kills himself. And it comes to light that she frequently um, grooms and has romantic relations with whoever her assistant is.
Oh dear.
And so she basically gets Me Too'd. But the interesting thing is, like, so she gets canceled in 2 ways in the movie. And the one that sticks is when she hurt other rich people. So I thought that was like, because it could very easily be a movie that's like, oh, the dangers of the woke brigade or whatever. They avoid that by having that detail in there. But also, since she's a lady doing all this horrible abusing, it becomes more about what power lets you get away with and that sort of statement, rather than just, oh, here's a guy being creepy. Like,
yeah.
And then I told Blue about it and said, it's basically Cate Blanchett stepping on people, and that sold it to Blue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's very good. It's kind of like she's a control freak, and that's partly why she revels in abusing her power, is because she can control things.
Yeah.
So it's a good movie.
Sounds good. But that's the thing. We kind of live in this environment now where, wow, it's like a thing that I think about sometimes is when I was young, when you got a computer game, that was your computer game for like the year. you were expected to play that computer game for like 10 months.
I mean, that's still how I roll when it comes to computer games.
Yeah, but now we're kind of in this age where if you want to keep that way, if you're like, I'm going to buy one computer game and that'll be my computer game for the year, you are simply not buying 10, 15, 20 equally good computer games you know you could have an equally good time with.
Well, yeah, so I'm going to die someday.
Yeah, when people like recommend stuff to me, like, oh, you have to play it, you have to play it, I'm like, I absolutely believe you. I absolutely believe you that it's good. But we are living in a perpetual Christmas of good media if you know where to look and you're proactive about what you like. And as a result, it's like there's always like under the tree is bursting with beautiful presents at all time.
And yet, you're going to spend 2 hours watching the live action Avatar The Last Airbender movie.
I sure am. Because that's how I am. I am as God made me. I can't not be this.
Spike is a monster.
I am a fucking monster. It's true. But yeah, I think about all the video games out there that are like so fucking good, and that's why I think Let's Plays are such a big part of my entertainment these days, because there's so many games that I would like to play, but it's like, fuck that. That's like 50 hours. I can't do that. So I just watch someone else play it while I work. What is wrong with you, Spike? A lot of things.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I just rewatch the same YouTube videos over and over again.
Oh God, not me.
I have watched Skip Intro's Paw Patrol video multiple times. It's very funny.
Oh, go for it.
No, it's fine.
Oh, no, please.
I said it's fine.
Okay. All right. I have been watching a lot of Maggie Mae Fish recently, and she did this one video that kind of made coherent a lot of my thoughts on tiny houses and the little portable houses people are building.
I was gonna link you to that.
Yeah, I watched that.
The one about scammers, yeah.
And how, for folks who aren't aware, Maggie Mae Fish is one of the commentary YouTubers. She's also an essayist, and it's like she puts into words a lot of thoughts I have floating around whenever I watch tiny house stuff. And one of the things she focuses on is how opaque and vague a lot of the finances behind some of the most prominent tiny house people are, and how one of the things they'll sell tiny houses as is, oh, it's so cheap, it's so thrifty, you're going to save so much money. And it starts out with, okay, so first you buy 80 acres in the middle of nowhere. It's like, well, whoa, hold on. Like, chill out. Wait, what?
Step one is a big step.
Yeah, step one's a big fucking step. Or, oh yeah, we made this all by ourselves. We converted this area all by ourselves. And also, I'm a contractor, and my dad came over and helped me do all of the plumbing and electrical work. And
then we hired a bunch of people.
Yeah. So all by ourselves isn't quite accurate. But the thing that she talked about extensively that I really enjoyed, because I watched this guy, and I've always kind of watched him with one eyebrow higher than the other, because I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. He is a guy who is living in a ghost town, and he is living in a ex-silver mine kind of silver rush, I guess is the best way to put it, not gold rush. An abandoned silver rush town where they got the mine open, and the saloon went up, and the hotel went up, and the barracks went up, and people mined all the silver out they could for a while, and then they all left it, and they left those buildings, those Wild West era buildings, to rot. And he, we'll get into it, bought the whole town, and he wants to restore the town, and he wants to make it a part of history, and he talks a good game. But then Maggie is all like, so anyway, here's his real deal. He is the front face of a consortium of investors who clearly want to turn this into like a spa for people to pre-game Coachella and Burning Man at. Like, that's where it is, and that's what the plan is. And he is the guy who actually lives there and kind of keeps things turning over in the restoration and rehabilitation of the outbuildings to turn them into functionally Airbnbs. And that's what he's doing. And and here are the people who are his silent partners, his behind the scenes investors. And this is why he's able to do all of these things, because he got all this money from these people. There is nothing organic or granola or getting away from it all about any of this. You are watching the prelims of a long game marketing program for a hotel complex. And it's all like, oh, yeah, when you put it that way, suddenly makes a ton of sense.
I've been really liking her unrated series on Nebula.
Yeah. Oh, Nebula. Hey, you subscribe to Nebula.
Yes, I do.
How are you finding that?
Because I've been subscribed for a while, because since I do rewatch YouTube's a lot, there's no ads. And I watch it on my TV, so I can't ad blocker my TV. And and then there's some fun extra things. Lindsay Ellis is making videos.
Okay.
Lindsay Ellis is making videos again. They're just only on Nebula. Her newest one is about Guy Fieri.
The man who has the driver's dine-ins and dives?
Yes.
Oh.
And about like popular opinion turning, like on him or turning in his favor, because he was hated when he first released. But now people are like, no, he's great. He's enjoying himself. He loves what he does, and he doesn't like hurt anyone. Fuck you for shitting on him for following his dream. Is kind of the current popular opinion about Guy Fieri. And so, yeah, so it's kind of following that sort of arc of his career and public opinion, and how it is very similar to the arc and public opinion of Dolly Parton. Because it's like when starting out, it's like he's shitty and trashy, and he's quote unquote hurting America with his unculturedness or whatever. But like through just shrugging it off and being enthusiastic about what they're doing. There's a Dolly Parton quote that gets thrown around a lot that is a really, really good advice for anyone who is trying to figure out how to brand themselves as an artist, which is figure out who you are and then do it on purpose.
Yeah, that is a good one.
And so both her and Guy Fieri kind of are examples of why that works. So
yeah,
it was a good video. She also has one about adapting Lord of the Rings into the Peter Jackson movies, not the new Amazon show.
So why Nebula and not Brilliant?
Brilliant is a different thing from Nebula.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant is basically a learning platform.
Okay. What about Curiosity Stream?
Curiosity Stream is only documentaries, and having a subscription to Nebula also gets you a subscription to Curiosity Stream. They get bundled together.
Okay.
So you can buy them individually, but they are the same price to get them together. Yeah.
Nebula's basically creator-owned stuff, and then Curiosity is more like pre-produced documentaries and shows and stuff. Either stuff they made, and I think a few of them pre-existed or predated the channel.
Okay.
And then Brilliant is specifically an educational platform.
Okay.
Like, not everything is even a video. Some of it's literally just, hi, do you want to learn how to do math?
Yes. I don't know how to math.
I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn how to do math. I don't have the desire in my heart.
No,
I just have to.
Yeah.
I do not know, and I will not learn.
I will learn. I just don't want to.
Yeah. I sometimes consider subscribing to a couple of those. I might.
Yeah.
All the people I like have videos.
Also, every time a YouTuber I like has had to change the music in their video for various reasons. The original music is on Nebula. H Bomber Guy's Why Fallout New Vegas is Great video. There's a montage scene where the music he used originally, he very quickly had to swap that out because of a copyright claim. But it still uses that music on the Nebula version.
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about when we have our Lackadaisy meetings actually is YouTube as a platform and how mercurial and unpredictable it is and how opaque the rules tend to be. And while we are making a cartoon about, oh, the cute little cat, they drink alcohol and they shoot their little guns. Isn't that nice? Isn't that funny? And that seems to be okay now. It's like, who fucking knows what YouTube's going to be thinking 3 years from now or 2 years from now? And what kind of weird rules are going to be put in place? Because they have done strange fucking shit in the name of appeasing their advertisers in the past that made the platform actively less pleasant to use and less pleasant to post on.
Oh yeah, there was recently an interview, like just this morning I was reading an interview with the former CEO of YouTube about the current CEO.
Susan, right?
And
well,
he
Susan's
was basically
not current anymore, right?
No, I mean Susan's the former one.
Yeah.
Well, this interview was with even before her, so
okay.
And they were basically like, this guy is gonna run this into the ground.
Really?
Like he said he is gonna make it so that no one can rely on YouTube for income ever again, like, because he's pushing shorts so much, and he thinks that shorts will help YouTube, but really it's just going to drive people away and make it harder for creators to make income. And so he's going to destroy the creator base that YouTube has built up. and people were already starting to feel this, and he's basically doubling down on it. And I do know and talk to a couple of smaller YouTubers regularly, and they have been saying that like ad money has been going more and more down for them, to the point where one that I was talking to was putting together a resume to get
that sucks.
like he's not gonna quit YouTube. He's just like he needs something else on top of it.
Yeah.
And so so it's kind of it seems like it's just headed down a not super great path. So all the YouTubers that I follow, I have been either trying to watch their stuff on Nebula when I rewatch it, or I have been backing their Patreon.
And it's all kind of fucking wild because over on TikTok, they've just enabled people to like make 10-minute posts. So they're going the exact opposite way. You'd think if shorter and shorter content was the future, they'd be sticking to what they started with. But now they're trying to become this sort of like direct YouTube competitor.
Yeah.
Which is wacky. And I don't want YouTube to focus on like when I go to YouTube for 3-hour video essays on the history of video game franchises I have never played and never will play. That's what YouTube is for.
So it's basically, if it is like a YouTube video that is older than a week and the creator is also on Nebula, I try to watch them on Nebula instead of on YouTube.
I do think there is a place for shorts.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of content that is better, really, really short, like certain animations. And I know people who do voice acting demos and stuff, and shorts have been really good for that.
Yeah.
It's just there's things that are good for shorts and there are things that are not.
Yeah. It's just if you subscribe to someone's channel because you like their really long video essays, and then they're posting more and more shorts because YouTube has pressuring them to do that, you might end up unfollowing them. Also, you don't get to see people's videos even if you do subscribe and follow them now. Like they're starting to do
subscription tab.
Yeah. So they're starting to do the thing that like Facebook did where, oh, you liked this fan page. Well, we're not going to show it to you unless that person is like giving us boost juice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how your Twitter For You page is like, I don't follow any of these people. Why are you showing me all of this? Whereas the people I follow, and you have to go to your following tab, and then YouTube's got the subscriptions tab. I actually have to, because the things I actually subscribe to are niche weird things. YouTube never recommends them to me, so I have to immediately go to my subscriptions tab to watch like my shit.
Yeah, and now on Twitter particularly, the top replies, no matter what, are people who pay fucking $8 a month to type XD, XD, XD and be the first to be seen to type that. Because all the replies are fucking... Yeah.
I guess I'm lucky because those people just don't talk in the spaces I'm active in.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't see them because I know how to install extensions, but yeah.
The other thing is, this is the thing that really irritated me about the boosting blue check people is I went to search for a user to DM, like I clicked the DM, I'm going to DM someone, and when you start to type someone's name, before they did this, only people you would follow and are capable of DMing would pop up as you type in a name to search. But now all these blue check people who I can't DM anyway are the first people that pop up. And it's like, that's nonsense, and you've just made your DMs unusable.
Yeah, it's fucking... The site is garbage. The site is absolute garbage. And I I've known it's garbage for a long time, but it's really been settling into being garbage now. And here's the thing, I don't fucking
it also
like
started
Jack.
garbage.
It started garbage, but I don't like Jack. I think Jack's a fucking idiot. I think Jack is like as fucking basic as it gets. I think he's a dumb bitch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm still on Blue Sky because quite frankly, I just want a place where I can, do dumb Twitter shit without the new dumb Twitter shit getting in the way. And that's
I'm not going.
Blue Sky is nothing. It's just Twitter. It's just fucking Twitter.
I'm not going anywhere until everyone's moved over because I'm tired and I'm old. I only moved to Twitter because that's where everyone finally moved to, and I said, fine, here I come.
Yeah, and I like Blue Sky so far. It's quiet, but like in a good way. And
no, I don't want that.
People post dumb shit, and I enjoy it. And
I do like that there's no DMs.
Oh, me too. I love that. I fucking love that there are no DMs.
Spike, I'm glad that I could invite you to the Cool Kids Club of Blue Sky.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. People are already asking me for invites, and I'm all like, I don't have any.
Because you get one every 2 weeks.
I already got, again, the very likely undiagnosed ADHD. If you put me on another platform, you've divided me into another portion. And look at me now.
Yeah.
Look at the state I am in. I can't do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go on there and vibe. I'm going to just do what people are doing. My current
thing is just to post my art and co-host, copy paste the description, and paste it across Twitter and Instagram. That's all I do. And then I tweet bullshit.
I'm followed by Satan.
Congrats.
I'm followed by Satan on Twitter. Oh, right now on Twitter. Satan. Sorry, on Blue Sky.
I said a thing. I said one of my replies got
talking my cat.
Shared on Blue Sky's like, what is Blue Sky talking about today thing. Because I said like all these idiots that are super into AI always want to like have the robots do things that people actually want to do, like write and draw and do art. They never want to like make AI do my dishes.
Yeah.
And I saw and then someone was like, a dishwasher exists, and I'm like, the dishwasher does not know if the dishes have like an extra stubborn stain or like if they need special care because of their material. The dishwasher just washes them.
Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. There are probably dishwasher scientists working on that right now, but here's the thing. There are actually smart people who know science and stuff. The kind of people championing all this quote-unquote AI stuff aren't.
They aren't. No, they're really not.
Because here's the thing. They're not thinking about, because most of the time you think of what is this problem we are solving, and then you work from that. You work to solve a problem. This is like, hey, we made a thing. Is this anything? It's basically all these algorithmically generated code and writing and art people are basically walking out of like their office going, hey, I made this thing. Is this anything? Does anyone want
blockchain.
This?
It's fucking blockchain all over again. It's a bunch of salesmen.
What it is they're so entwined in the tech world that they don't interact with any normal people. So they are resolving problems that, because they don't talk to anyone who's normal, they don't realize aren't actually problems, and that there's already a solution for it. That's why you get, we remade vending machines and called them bodega boxes.
Yeah, and it's one of those deals where they kind of have this idea that they're going to disrupt various industries, right? And the way they go about talking about how they're going to disrupt these industries makes it clear they have no fucking idea how these industries work.
Pretty much every time.
Yeah, and it's kind of fascinating. Like they do the thing where it's all like, hey, stupid, that's just a subway. You're reinventing a subway. Like
these people, they have like, I'm shocked, absolutely shocked that none of these people have like. So you know how a lot of the algorithmically generated art stuff has this thing where it will like impose like an anime style over a photo, right? And I'm sitting here going, this could easily be done for like cleanup animation. This could easily, but none of them are proposing that because they don't know that's like, and I'm not saying I don't want like human cleanup artists to get replaced, but it's more if they had their finger on the pulse of like what actually goes into animating and stuff, they'd know, oh, here is a use. Here is a thing that our technology could slot right into and be used for, but they're just so disconnected they don't even know that.
Yeah.
It's like Kelly Turnbull was talking about how she wishes there, like, because one of the things that, especially with animation, you run into all the time is background art. You will work on a background that will only be used once for 3 seconds and never again, but it can't be half-assed. It still has to look as detailed as the rest of the backgrounds because of the continuity. And so there's totally a gap in the not in the market. What am I thinking? But there's a use case for something that can generate backgrounds based on pre-existing backgrounds you already made or something like that. Like you plot in a perspective grid and it fills in the rest based on the rest of the stuff you made. And if, again, these people had their finger on the pulse of animation, they would have been able to, oh, here's a use case, but they don't. They came into this with zero use case other than we can make animation.
And their big selling point is telling people who deeply enjoy what they're doing in the creative arts, guess what? You know that thing you love? You don't have to do it anymore. Isn't that great? It's like, that's not a selling point. You're selling to me like I'm a suit. You're not selling to me like I'm a creative.
I also think, aside from the whole, people are going to be looking for ways to, and I've said this before, I feel like I'm just repeating myself from previous episodes, but I think this, what we're calling AI art, is honestly going to be a kind of a flash in the pan, because it's only, like, obviously it's going to be pushed hard and it's going to suck for a little while. But I think it's going to be dropped faster than people realize, because it is ultimately still way faster and actually cheaper to have an artist on staff who can, hey, I have an idea. They draw it real quick, or they use the some sort of algorithmically generated thing to make something that they tweak. It is going to be way too cumbersome and actually kind of expensive to have an entire assembly line where everything's AI generated, because all of the people and manpower you're going to have to put in to correct all of it to make it work isn't going to be worth it.
I think what we're headed for is a future where if you are a budget kind of shop, if you are a person that makes shovelware games or throws together shit for people on a budget, one of the new jobs is going to be cleaning up AI artwork, like cleaning up hands and faces and stuff. And like, that'll be a new art job. But I think here's the thing that, like, I don't see covered a lot in these conversations, simply by its existence. And I'm going to call it AI art for the sake of simplicity.
It's just easier to say.
It's just easier. It's not AI. It's algorithmically generated. It cannot create anything that hasn't already been created for it to crib from. But AI art in and of itself devalues itself by existing simply because it is so easy to make. The thing about a thing that anyone can do is that it's fucking worthless. So these dudes you see who have these dreams of, air quotes, hacking the comics industry or hacking the publishing industry or hacking the art industry, simply by trying to do that, they are making sure no one will value what they do. And this is part of where I kind of sort of agree with the whole this is headed for a crash thing, because these dudes do not do this for the sake of creating a thing, because they've automated the process of creation. They are doing this for a profit motive. And if the profit motive, here are two things. The profit motive is going to be compromised simply by how easy it is to do, because why the fuck would I pay you to do that if I could do that? And secondly, the law is already gearing up to smack this thing down. And there are a lot of things people who make AI art rely on to keep their AI art appealing and consistent. And one of those is cribbing from celebrity faces. And that is something, simply because there's too much money involved, that will not get in the door.
Yeah.
It simply won't. And if the profit motive disappears, the people who are going to end up using this are, quite frankly, I think mostly either sort of budget creative shops, and private people who just want to fill the portrait panel for their D&D sheet, or want to illustrate a blog entry,
or just artists who want to
around.
use it as like a little side tool, because I've actually used it
Yeah,
before.
or a tool or a side tool. I don't see it like these grandiose, pack it up artists. Art is so over. Those are salesmen.
Back when I was playing with Midjourney, let Kel talk. Kel's been trying. Sorry.
So the thing is, like, Amanda, you were saying, like, oh, it's cheaper to have an artist on set. Well, that's one of those things where it's like it might be cheaper in the long run, but sometimes suits are very stupid.
Oh yeah, and that's why I said it'll be a problem.
They're saving money. So right now, part of the writer's strike is the problem of when they're not allowing writers' room people to stay on long enough to be on set, and that is costing the studios more money in the long run, but they don't realize it because having a writer on set means they can, in the moment, fix a joke that's not working. They can, this scene doesn't match what we have in the script because we couldn't get the right location. And it is cheaper to have a writer on set rewrite last minute than it is to reshoot the whole scene. But that hasn't stopped this trend toward
for sure
keep the writers off. Like, we don't want them to keep them on longer enough to be involved in production. And it's also backfiring because the new crop of showrunners have never been on a set before, so they're not as trained as they need to be to run a show, so they're set up to fail. So it is costing the studios all this money, but the writers had to go on strike to get them to make the financially good decision, like the studios to make the financially good decision.
That's true, but my point about the AI art is, the difference with the AI art is the AI generating people are not going to be replacing the artists who are not kept on. They are also not going to be kept on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, people have this idea that, like, they'll replace all the artists. And I'm saying, yes, it would be cheaper to keep the artist on. Therefore, they're not going to keep any of them on. They're not going to keep you on, AI dork, either.
Yeah.
They're going to, again, like Spike was saying, they're going to do it themselves, which is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But still, that's what I was saying. Like, you have that's more what I'm talking about. All these people like, we're going to utilize AI art to, like, get into the industry ourselves. It's like, no, that's not how it's going to happen. Like, again, who was pointing out that, like, Disney has all these characters that are under their copyright. They're going to train their own data sets and shit. They're not going to use yours.
Yeah,
they might use someone's tech, but it's not going to be everybody. It's not going to be decentralized or whatever. It's going to be the people who own the tech.
It's going to be the Disney Corporation's AI. Yeah.
And from what I have heard through the grapevine, one of the things that is kind of going around about specifically the SAG-AFTRA, the Writers Guild of America, wrong union. One of the things they're trying to get enshrined in the next round of contracts is the suits are arguing super hard for no minimums in the writers' room. Well, the writers are arguing for there must be at least this many writers in the writers' room. And while no one is saying it on the suit side in so many words, it's clear what they're angling for, where there's a future where most of the writing is being done by AI and they have a human just punch it up. And it's like, no, every show must hire this many writers. We want that in the contracts. And this is something the suits are being weirdly obstinate about. And this is why people think they're being that way.
I mean, here's the thing, and here's ultimately going to be, if this is going to bite, I think this is another reason why I think AI stuff is going to get dropped, kind of. It's going to burn hard and bright, and then it's going to crash. And one of the things is, especially if you have a situation where you have the AI generating stuff, and you have a person correcting it, you are relying on whoever is correcting it to know literally every media property to see plagiarism when they see it.
Yeah.
Because what happens a lot with this stuff, because it is, nobody really knows what it's trained on. Like, yes, so much is put in, but it's not regulated or anything. Nobody knows what is put in.
Yeah.
To the point where it can regurgitate stuff, and if you don't have a keen eye, just because it was like a really obscure source, you didn't catch it, then someone's going to get sued. It's going to happen both in art and writing, because like you can't say, for example, you can't go, well, all adult did was tell it to make a black mouse with red shorts and yellow shoes, and it just happened to spit out something that looks a lot like Mickey Mouse. You can't use it. But it's going to spit out things that you don't recognize as easily as Mickey Mouse. That is someone else's property. And you just don't have the breadth, and no one on that team has the world experience to know, hey, we can't use this.
Yeah. And again, one of the things that I think is going to nip a lot of this in the bud is a human needs to make it for it to qualify for copyright. If something doesn't qualify for copyright, it's very hard to make money off of it, you know, in a way where you're the only one making money off of it. No TV show, no film is going to be algorithmically generated and released by a studio that's interested in making a profit, because it won't qualify for copyright and it'll be on TV next day.
To prove Amanda's point, there was that trailer going around that people were like, oh, can you believe that AI made this? And it's like, yes, because that's exactly the shot of Leonardo DiCaprio raising his glass in The Great Gatsby.
Except he's melting.
Yeah, and it's like, these are not creative machines. They can only use what they are being fed.
There's a really good video by Kyle Hill about AI stuff. And he prefaces it by talking about, I think, what's the name of the chess machine, the AI that plays chess? Anyway, there's this I think so. Anyway, there's this AI that plays chess, and it has gone undefeated for a very long time. And recently it's been defeated because I'm paraphrasing and I'm not very smart, so forgive me. But basically what they did is they had amateur players play against it, making not very good plays. Intentionally just not very good plays. Like, these plays are not in the books because they're not good. And they were able to therefore get it on the ropes initially, and then initiate this weird, I forget the name of the trick, but there's a trick you can do where you kind of box it in because it's trained on a library of successful moves, and you can therefore trick it, because at the end of the day, the algorithm does not know how to play chess. The algorithm just sees patterns and responds to them. So if you start playing chess differently, it can't think on its feet, and it can't play chess with you. It just doesn't know how to play chess. It doesn't know anything. It's like responding to stimuli almost. And that is pretty much what AI art does too. It doesn't know anything. That's why so again, I'm sorry if I'm preaching to the choir, but like how AI art works is it's this whole system of tags, basically. Like, if you have 5 images that each have fisheye perspective, and you tag that fisheye, then it'll know a specific shape is attached to a tag, fisheye. But if there's an artist signature in every single one of those, it will also include that in fisheye, because it's not actually recognizing perspective and shapes. It's just recognizing whatever is the same between those images must be whatever fisheye is, which is how you'll get like weird artifacts that pop up in every instance of a woman with a red hat always has this one weird artifact in it, because it doesn't know it doesn't know what a hat is, it doesn't know what a woman is, it doesn't know what perspective is, it just has tags, things it associates with tags, and it will then put all those things together, and if it messes up, it's just gonna mess up, because it literally doesn't know anything. It doesn't understand what a person is.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like artificial intelligence. That's why it kind of sucks that AI art is what we're all calling it, because it's not artificial intelligence. It's algorithmically generated. It's just, it's chewing up what you put into it and spitting something out the end that kind of resembles what you asked for. It's not making any decisions. It's not going, oh, well, this doesn't look right. It never does that.
That's why it's all, and that's why it'll be so uncanny, because, for example, I remember there was photos being shared around recently of this man standing in front of like a river or a lake, a big lake behind him, and the ripples were really weird. And it's really just because it doesn't know what a ripple is. It just knows. And again, I'm sure you can perfect it. Sure you can feed it more data, but at the end of the day, that's all it's ever going to be is tags, pull it. Sort of doing collages. It just doesn't understand things, and that's why it's always gonna fuck up.
Yeah. But what I'm to just break it down, just straight up. Anyone who is telling you this is going to replace art, going to replace artists, going to replace creative careers, literally a salesman, literally trying to be a piece of shit at you.
And well, you also have for example, think about that Zendaya comic, remember?
Yeah.
If I wanted to recreate that exactly, I could. I would just need to know the tags.
Yeah.
Whereas the other thing is, it's not just salesmen, Spike. It's also people
suckers
that no. It's people that are mad that that creativity is valued.
Yeah.
So like they want to be like, well, my computer can do that. Like, so it's a thing that they've never been praised for, and they're like, so no one should be praised for it.
Yeah, but again, it's like the thing that really gets me about those people is, okay, like human creativity is infinitely varied, and your machine don't know shit until we tell it. You know what I mean? It's like you're still not it's still not my fucking equal. I'm sorry.
But so like those people might not care that they'll never get a big payday from their AI art, because at the end of the day, they just want to devalue creativity.
I think
which is incredibly naive in of itself.
I think there's also another type of person, not just people who are upset that creativity is valued, but I think there is, it sounds silly, but I've met them. There is still a small percentage of people who for some reason still think artists are celebrities, and they want celebrity status. And I just want to put my arm around their shoulder and be like, oh, honey, no. Oh, even if you succeeded, even if like we viewed what you're making as art and it was really popular and you like sold it, oh, honey, no, none of us end up being celebrities. Oh, baby.
Yeah. I do think there's here's the thing. It used to be once upon a time, just when people said, oh, like it's clearly jealousy, I would roll my eyes, like, shut up. But no, I think there is definitely an element of that too, where it's the idea that someone can sit down and make an image that is wholly their own and completely original and something they made up in their head it's a skill. It's a skill that's honed over decades of practice. And there is covetousness there over that kind of skill. And so they have it's like that bit from Invincible where like, see what they have to do to have even a fraction of our power, where they want sort of prosthetic creativity. They want the facsimile of creativity. And what's ironic about adopting this prosthetic creativity is it becomes instantly completely unimpressive. It doesn't get them what they want because it is becoming increasingly instantly identifiable to people. It's like, oh, that's just AI. It's like my literal child could do that. My 2-year-old could go and bang some shit into Midjourney and get something like that. That's not impressive. So it's like that brass ring they're reaching for isn't actually any closer to being in their grasp, because we all know how you did that. Any one of us could do that. But I could sit down and I can draw a comic page. You still can't do that.
I mean, they could, but They'd have to try.
Yeah, they could. Okay, you know what? You're right. They could.
That is the saddest
me.
part. They aren't. They could.
Yeah, they absolutely could.
They just don't want to.
No, because they don't want to, like, the thing that I can't get over is the screenshots I'd see of conversations where they would say things like, oh, so you just expect me to spend 10 fucking years learning how to draw a foot. It's like, yeah that's what we did.
I mean, you don't have to. There's a lot of artists who are not good at drawing feet, and they're doing great.
Yeah.
There was a book that I read or listened to the audiobook of ages and ages ago called The Element, which is about people finding their element, as the author put it. And basically he said, these people, the key to finding it is where your passion meets your talent, because you can have talent for a thing but not necessarily a passion for it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is him interviewing people and giving examples. And one was a person who was like a concert pianist, someone who said, the response she says whenever someone says to her, I wish I could do that, is, no, you don't. Because if you really wished you could, you would have sat down and learned how to do it. Like you would have spent years and years and years of practice learning how to do it.
In comparison, it's like you can get a player piano, and the player piano can play all kinds of great concert music. If you sit down and put your fingers on the keys while it plays, you don't get to turn to people and be all like, God, I'm so good at piano. You see, it's so over for pianists.
I think also there's a level of where I think people, like the average person, does devalue themselves. Like they have to be doing something. They have to be making something. But most people don't make things, and it doesn't make them less valuable as humans. No. But it's just how we view things. And like, the whole art would be like, especially as far as I see it in the kind of art I make, if it weren't for lots of people who really like art but don't want to make art themselves, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have an audience, because there is a subset of people who love art and don't want to make art. They just want to appreciate it.
They want to enjoy art.
They want to enjoy art, and
they want to behold art.
Like, and those people are valuable because, like, they're the reason I have an audience. They're the reason any of us do. So, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I think also we have a problem where people just kind of devalue themselves in general, and it kind of leads to these cycles of like, no, you don't have to be producing anything. You're fine, honey. You really are.
Yeah.
You're still valuable.
So I just like that thing sat with me. The like, no, you don't, because if you really wanted to be able to play piano like this, you'd learn and you do it. Yeah. It was a very interesting book to read because he talks to people who found their thing, but also people who were told they were really good at a thing they didn't care about. And so they sort of got forced into...
Like, imagine you walk into like a knitting circle and go, hi, everyone, I've introduced a machine that knits for you at home. And everyone just being like, go away. Okay. That's not why we're here.
And that's, again, the thing that I keep saying, and I'm going to say forever and ever, is just all like, art has survived the literal majority of humanity having HD cameras in their pockets at any time. It's not going to be stopped by algorithmically generated art.
Yeah.
It's people are going to produce. The thing that I think a lot of these like salesmen don't understand is that people who are creative, people who actually sit down and they make art, it is a compulsion in a lot of them. And they're not just sitting there wishing that they didn't have to do this, that someone would come along and automate this for them. It's the process is as important as the product, because the process and the product are kind of how the art, becomes what it is. It's like sitting there and figuring out the pose, figuring out the lighting, figuring out the palette, figuring out the mood. That is what makes the final. Amanda.
I
That is what
refuse.
makes the final product so satisfying. And that is something that a lot of artists enjoy. It's and a thing I said on Twitter is just like, you don't call up Steven Spielberg and go, I have great news. You never have to direct again. Your film, like, you don't understand creative people if that's genuinely what you think they've been waiting to hear.
Like,
honestly,
there
are some of my favorite content are the children on the YouTubes. This is, I don't know if they still do this, but this was early YouTube days, who would recreate movies with their Lego stop motions. Like, they would do the entire goddamn movie with Legos in stop motion, and it was fantastic. Nobody paid them, nobody made them, they just wanted to do it.
Oh, that's adorable. And again, it's like one of the things that's true too is like a lot of kind of the big animation YouTubers, they have accounts that stretch back like 13 years. Like one of the people I was just recently digging in the archives of, when I was first watching him, he went by Speedo Sausage. Now he's Speedoru. And he has, I think, the same YouTube he's always had. And he's been just like doing it for 13 years, something like that. And it's just really fun to see his old shit and see that sort of curve of improvement. And it's like, it's so satisfying and neat.
There's also the guy who is like, oh, you don't have to make art anymore, to the creative person. The shithead producer who said the love of work will be what breaks the writer's strike understands creative people more than the idiots pushing AI. Yeah. Like, both of them are wrong, but like, it's just one of those people understands creative slightly better than the other.
Yeah. It's,
again, I am the idiot who's putting in the plan slowly to make 2 webcomics next year.
Yeah, and I'm fucking up right now just by sitting here not making a comic. I wish I could be, but y'all, it is 10:09.
And
it has been 2 hours.
And
I would like
I'm finally feeling it, okay? No, you owe me another hour. I finally am not feeling like crap.
You can keep going and I can just bow out.
No. You owe me an hour?
Bowing out now.
No.
Y'all can decide if you want to keep going or not.
That's fine. I'll probably go play Warframe and then draw some commissions. Humph.
Yeah. Okay. Humph. Everybody.
I do have to go pack for Van Calf, so.
Oh yeah. Cool, Van Calf. But anyway.
Humph.
Everybody, I'm Spike. What's up? Thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe to the Iron Circus Comics YouTube. Every Sunday, my husband Matt and I play about 5 or 6 hours of Vintage Story, which is like Minecraft, but super fucking mean. There are archives available for you to watch, and we encourage you to join us every Sunday starting at 6 p.m. You can find me on Blue Sky, Spoutable, Hive Social, what's the other ones? Fuck.
There's too many.
Pillow Fort, and co-host as Iron Spike.
But where are you actually active?
I am active on Blue Sky. I am active on Pillow Fort. I am active on co-host, and I'm active on Twitter. Twitter is the only place where I am Iron_Spike. Everywhere else, I am Iron Spike, all one word. Please feel free to follow me on those platforms. Iron Circus Comics is mine. You can find it at ironcircus.com. We make comics. They're great. Iron Circus Animation is also mine. Go into the search bar right now and type Lackadaisy and watch the movie that pops up. That's the very first Iron Circus Animation project ever, based on the Eisner-nominated webcomic by Tracy Butler. It is fantastic. The pilot turned out great, and we would love to make more. Right now, we are crowdfunding on BackerKit. Wine Ghost Goes to Hell, where sort of the messiest bitch you ever knew in high school died and went to hell. But it's okay, because things are working out. The book is just $10. The PDF, the ebook, it's just $5. We just hit 61% funded with 2 weeks left to go. We sure would appreciate your support. We just added blacklight posters, iron-on patches, and book plates. So please help keep comics weird and help fund Wine Ghost. Woohoo! we would love to get some of these stretch goals we have planned going. So we're going to announce those with the week left to go, and spread the word. Spread the word. Help us make weird comics.
My name is Kel McDonald. You can read all my comics at kelmcdonald.com. I also stream regularly at twitch.tv/kelmcdonald. I usually am co-streaming during Geek Show. So if you want to watch me draw rather than our icons flap,
Flap, flap, flap, flap, flap, flap.
you can do that while watching Geek Show. I also usually stream on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights while talking to a buddy. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/kelmcdonald. I am on a bunch of social medias. There's too many. I'm not going to say them all because I do not care about any of them. I hate them all. There's no such thing as fun on social media. And that's it. Oh, I'll be at VanCaf this weekend. Come say hi if you're in the Vancouver area.
I'm Amanda. My link is in the description.
Thank you so much, everybody.